those of you who have been with me from the very beginning, it's crazy to think this is my 10th year on YouTube. Well, remember that I started off sharing fully plant-based recipes on my channel. Times have changed and so have I. The way I eat, my approach to food has definitely shifted and evolved, but that's not to say that I don't still enjoy fully plant-based recipes. Plant-based cooking is the foundation of everything I do. Cooking up, experimenting, exploring vegan recipes taught me everything that I know today. Vegan recipes are still highly requested on my channel. I've got this celeriac peanut and lentil stew, along with this chickpea crumble, which is an old recipe that I put a little twist on. I've also got this plant-powered tofu and quinoa bowl. You are going to love these. For more of my recipes, you can head over to my website and go and check all of my ebooks out over there. I would love to hear from you, so drop me a comment. Let me know which one you'll be trying out. Let's jump right into this first one. Let's go. If there's a recipe that is suited for this weather, it is this one right here. This is my celeriac peanut and lentil stew. I love the combination of celeriac and peanut. It just works so well together. I always describe celeriac as a sponge. When I tell you, this vegetable just locks in flavor, so it's perfect for any type of curry or stew that you're making. I think it's such an underrated winter vegetable. I'm about to show you one of my favorite ways to prepare it. For this recipe, we'll be needing some lentils. I love using brown lentils. Of course, if you've got beluga lentils, if you've got pui lentils, even if you want to use red lentils, which will be a whole different texture completely, you could do that. We'll be needing some smooth peanut butter along with some tinned plum tomatoes. We'll be needing the star ingredient, which is celeriac. I'm also going to be throwing in some fresh thyme. I'll be using a little bit of habanero. You could use some scotch bonnet, some onions, garlic, and some ginger for the base of this also. Let's start by preparing these lentils. So I chose to cook mine from dried. Brown lentils soak really fast. Like I put these to soak before I went to the gym, and then about 2.5 to 3 hours when I got back, that's when I put them to cook. Unlike chickpeas and butter beans, which require a little bit longer, lentils will soak really fast. I gave the lentils a really good wash and rinse. I grabbed a large saucepan, just placing the lentils in. I poured over some fresh water, placing in some salt, and I also placed in a couple of cloves of garlic. This is definitely not a requirement, but I just, had some garlic cloves and I just wanted to throw them in. Just like the lentils soak really fast, they also cook really fast. They'll take about 15 to 20 minutes to cook. Just keep an eye on them, but you do want a soft lentil. Not mushy, but soft. Let's start with the base of this stew. We're gonna begin by finely chopping up all of our aromatics. So we're gonna finely chop up some onion. We'll do the same with the garlic. Once everything's in the pan, we'll then grate the ginger in. But this is the season for root vegetables, winter vegetables, and like I said, I just don't feel like celeriac gets the shine that it deserves. It just doesn't look appealing maybe from the outside, but once you strip back the layers, you're left with the most fabulous, flavorful vegetable that is going to add just an extra edge to any winter dish. So you can chop your celeriac anyhow you want. I chose to just chop mine in half and then kind of do half moon pieces. So now that all of our ingredients are chopped, we can move on and actually put this together. So grabbing a heavy based pan, we're just gonna toast off our spice seeds to begin. So I'm using a blend of cardamom, cumin, and mustard. So heat your pan and toast your seeds. You can toast them for like a minute or a minute and a half, just until they're nice and fragrant. Removing them from the pan and just setting them aside. So into the pan, you can go ahead and swirl in some olive oil, placing in all of that chopped onion and all of that chopped garlic. We can just start moving everything in the pan. You can go and season with some salt, grate in all of that ginger. I prefer to grate mine just so the ginger is extra strong, but if you'd prefer to chop it, that's fine, you can do that. So once the onions, garlic, ginger have softened, once everything is fragrant in that pan, you can go ahead and throw in those toasted spice seeds, just combining everything well. Next step is to throw in some tomato paste and just kind of let that sizzle in the pan for a few minutes. So place some tomato paste into the pan, just stirring everything. This is the kind of sizzle that you want in the pan. You could have done this before, but I just did it at this point. I just placed in some black pepper. So now we've got that base layer of flavor, like the flavor is popping in that pan. Now we can go ahead and throw in the tinned tomatoes. So I love to use plum tomatoes just because I find they're the juiciest, most flavorful tinned tomato. Crushing up the plum tomatoes using your spoon or using the back of a fork, using whatever you want. Just go ahead and crush those tomatoes. So we threw our spice seeds in at the beginning. Now this is the point where we add our spice powders in. I'm just using some garam masala. So anything tin tomato based, you're just going to have to be patient. If you want maximum flavor, you've got to just stir, you've got to cook, you've got to just take a minute, just let everything marinate in that pan. So whilst that tomato sauce is just deepening in flavor, we can go ahead and prep the peanut butter, which is super simple. I like to do it this way. If you want, I'm sure you could just throw the peanut butter straight in. I kind of like to loosen it before I throw it in. I grab my peanut butter. I'm using some smooth peanut butter. I just placed it into a bowl and then I threw in some water, just whisking everything until I had this smooth, looser peanut butter consistency. Time to combine the peanut with the tomato. So we're going to throw that liquid peanut butter in. Pouring that peanut butter in is going to give this stew that smooth, velvety feel. It's going to add that nuttiness and also that gentle sweetness, which really balances everything out and works so well with that celeriac, which we're about to add in. So gently combine everything. It is going to thicken up. If you want to loosen it a little bit by bit, you can just keep on adding a little touch of water here and there when you feel it's necessary. So once we have that rich looking peanut sauce, we're gonna go ahead and add in our brown lentils. So the brown lentils will look something like this once cooked. If you need to, you can drain off any excess water. So go ahead and place those cooked brown lentils into the stew, along with that chopped celeriac. This just needed a little bit more liquid, so I threw a little touch of water in, and yeah, I just mixed everything well. I threw in some fresh thyme and some habanero, and I covered that pot and just let everything cook beautifully. So after about 25 to 30 minutes of slow cooking this celeriac, peanut and lentil stew, I removed the lid and I was just left with this comforting, savory, warm, nutty, absolutely delicious stew, which I will be able to eat for days after this. The celeriac with the peanut is enough, but add in the brown lentils, unmatched. I chopped up some fresh coriander. You can chop up whatever fresh herbs you like. Parsley would actually work really well in this also. To serve, I fancied some greens on the side, so I just steamed some kale and yeah, just plated everything up. I felt like having some rice with mine. You can have some quinoa if you'd prefer. You could serve this with some extra protein. So if you want an egg, if you want some chicken. I enjoyed this so much. I sat down and just took in every bite. This is a winning plant-based vegan winter dish that you just have to try out. You have to give this one a go. This is my chickpea crumble taken from my ebook Balance. It's this wonderful layered bake with creamy leeks and mushrooms, a layer of butternut squash, and what I like to call this chickpea crumble topping, which just goes crispy on top. The chickpeas are spiced and flavored to perfection, like all of my recipes. This one just came about by me just exploring in my kitchen, just playing with different flavors, different ingredients. This is like a 2.0 version of my original chickpea bake. The original was delicious, but this one is just as, if not even more delicious. We'll be needing some cooked chickpeas. I'm back on my pressure cooking game. I'm back in the swing of things. Obviously, use tinned, use cartoned, use jarred, whatever's easiest for you. Just find some cooked chickpeas. So for the base of this recipe, we'll be needing some mushrooms and leeks. The twist in this particular chickpea crumble comes from using silken tofu. Silken tofu definitely makes this feel like more of a complete meal. But if you don't do soy, then coconut milk works perfectly because I've done it many times with it. Like I mentioned, we're going to feature a layer of butternut squash. So we're going to prep all of our ingredients first, and then it's just a lot easier to layer everything. So starting with this chickpea crumble, the chickpea topping, we're going to place our cooked chickpeas into a large bowl, and we're going to spice them up with some smoked paprika. We're going to place in some garlic powder, some garlic granules. I placed in these mixed herbs that I had, which was a blend of thyme, oregano, parsley, sage, and basil. Sage is that herb that just works so well with these chickpeas, so I chopped some fresh sage up and threw some in. I added salt, pepper, and I drizzled over some olive oil. You can go ahead and give your chickpeas a taste. If they need any adjusting, then go ahead and throw whatever extra you need. If they need some more salt, then go ahead and do that. If they need some more pepper, then do that. So using my potato masher, you don't want them completely mashed, but you just want them a little bit textured. I just mashed the chickpeas. You could also use the back of a fork if you don't have a potato masher. This is the kind of chickpea topping that I want, something that looks like this, something slightly crushed, but still with that chickpea texture. So moving on to chopping up all of our ingredients, we're going to start by finely chopping up some shallots along with some garlic. If you don't have shallots, white onions will work just as well. I just had a big bag of shallots, so I'm using some. So grabbing all of those mushrooms, I just trimmed the ends and then just finely chopped them up. So I did the same with my leek, just finely chopping it and then giving it a good wash I'm just making sure that my leek was washed really, really well. So we're going to chop up this butternut squash. I like to prepare it by just peeling it all. If you want to keep the skin on, that's fine. I just didn't want the skin from this particular butternut squash. Yeah, I just trimmed the ends of the butternut squash, just chopping it in half, scooping out all of the seeds. Whilst chopping, I figured that I only needed about half of the butternut squash. I set the rest aside and I'll definitely use it in another recipe. So grabbing a large heavy based pan, I heated my pan and drizzled in a little bit of olive oil. I placed in the finely chopped shallots and garlic, followed on by some good salt, some black pepper, some chili flakes. I also threw some dried thyme in too and just began combining everything. After about 5 to 7 minutes of cooking the garlic and shallots, I placed in all of those chopped leeks, just giving everything a good stir, allowing those leeks to just cook. Once the leeks had softened, I then threw in the mushrooms, splashing over a little bit of tamari. I gave everything a little extra salt and some more black pepper. So allowing those mushrooms to cook in the pan and just get full of flavor. Whilst they're cooking, we are going to simply just blend up our silken tofu. So I did this by opening up the tofu, placing it straight into a blender and just whizzing it up. Simple. Your silken tofu will whiz up in seconds. Once it looks something like this and those mushrooms and leeks have cooked down, we can just go ahead and pour that silken tofu in, just mixing everything in that pan. One last ingredient that I need in this sauce is some Dijon mustard. I threw some Dijon mustard in. You can go ahead and just give this a taste if it needs some more black pepper. Moving on to my favorite stage, we are going to layer up this chickpea crumble. So grabbing a medium-sized baking tin, we're going to place in our creamy mushrooms and leeks. We'll then layer it up by placing on those thin slices of butternut squash. I like to drizzle over a little bit more extra virgin olive oil. I also put on a touch of salt and placed over a little bit of fresh thyme. For the final layer, we're going to place over that chickpea crumble, what I like to call a chickpea crumble, making sure every part is covered with those chickpeas. We don't want a space missing. Those spiced, flavor-packed, crushed chickpeas, which are going to go golden. They are going to crisp up in that oven. 3 layers that just work so magically together. So I covered my chickpea crumble with some foil, placing it into a preheated oven of about 200 degrees Celsius. I left it in there for about 25 minutes. I then removed the foil and left it in for a further 10 minutes just to crisp up and go golden on top. What a treat this recipe is. It's been so long since I've cooked it and I was reminded why this was such a special one years ago. It's still so special. A cozy comfort, full-bodied, fully plant-based vegan recipe that I guarantee everybody is going to enjoy. So for this next recipe, we've got what I like to call this plant-based power bowl. So many beautiful elements within this bowl. We've got this sun-dried tomato tahini dressing along with some coconut quinoa lentils. We're going to pan cook some seasoned tofu, serve it with some boiled plantain and some steamed tender stem. So we'll be needing some tofu. I'm using some super firm tofu from the brand Dragonfly. I really love this stuff. So we'll be needing some quinoa. We'll also be needing some cooked lentils. I'm using the cooked leftover brown lentils that I had from the previous recipe. So we're going to make this sauce slash dressing using some sun-dried tomatoes. We're going to combine it with some tahini, a little bit of maple syrup, some garlic, lemon juice. It's so delicious. I also have a plantain that needs using. You can cook it up anyhow, but I'm going to boil it. So before I get into prepping, I'm just going to put my quinoa to soak. I like to soak my quinoa even if it's just for 30 minutes or an hour. I prefer cooking some type of soaked quinoa. So yeah, I just put my quinoa to soak, setting it aside, and I moved on to preparing this sun-dried tomato and tahini dressing. So in a blender, I combined some sun-dried tomatoes along with some tahini. This is a Japanese style tahini. It's just sesame paste. I squeezed in lots of lemon juice. I placed in a touch of maple syrup along with some olive oil, some ground black pepper, a touch of garlic, and some water just to thin everything out. So I just whizzed it up until I reached my desired consistency. If you'd like it a little bit looser, you can add some extra water and just do your thing. This is my current dressing slash sauce addiction. You can use it any way you want. If you want it for a salad dressing or a grain bowl sauce, even a sandwich spread, put some on some toast with some sardines. Mwah. I definitely made enough of this for a few days. I personally didn't feel like it needed extra salt just because the sun-dried tomatoes are already salty, but give it a taste and adjust if you need to. It wasn't the longest amount of time, but I allowed my quinoa just to soak for half an hour. I gave it a good wash and rinse. So I placed over some water Along with those cooked lentils, I placed in some coconut milk. I like to do half water, half coconut milk, along with some salt and some ground pepper. I brought my quinoa to a boil, reducing the heat, turning it right down, covering the pot, and just letting it cook. So seasoning up this tofu, we're going to prepare it well using some store-covered ingredients. In a bowl, we're going to combine some olive oil along with some rice mirin. We're going to place some tamari in there. We're going to use the smoky tomato paste. We're going to balance it out with a touch of maple syrup, some minced garlic, black pepper, some dried thyme, and some chili flakes, just combining everything well. So draining off the water from the tofu, I just patted mine down with some paper towel, just removing any excess water that I could. I simply cut it into slices like this. If you'd prefer to cube it, you can do that. You can cut it any way you want. I put the tofu pieces onto a plate, just pouring over all of that gorgeous spicy sweet marinade, just covering every bit of that tofu on each side. The same as with meat, you can leave your tofu just to sit in the fridge and just to deepen in flavor. You could even leave it overnight, but I cooked mine straight away. It's still going to be delicious. I just grabbed a large pan, just cooking on each side for about 4 minutes or so until golden, until it looked something like this. Just a couple more steps and we're going to put this bowl together. I had a random plantain that I just simply put to boil, so I just gave it a wash, chopped it up, placed it into a saucepan, covered with some water and some generous salt, and just boiled everything for about 20 minutes or so. So plating everything up, I grabbed my sun-dried tomato and tahini. We're going to call it a sauce. Well, at least we're serving it up like a sauce for this. We're going to place on our coconut quinoa lentils, along with some steamed tender stem. I placed on that boiled plantain, that gorgeous tasting pan-cooked spicy sweet tofu. Placed on top some fresh parsley, a little extra swirl of some olive oil, some black pepper, and I devoured this. This colorful, vibrant, plant-packed power bowl hits every spot for me. That sun-dried tomato tahini sauce has so much depth. Paired with that spicy, sweet marinated tofu, incredible. Add on those coconut quinoa lentils just to bring that comforting warmth. Optional extras, but for me personally, that boiled plantain, it's a non-negotiable. It has to be on this bowl. So there we have it, 3 varied plant-based recipes, each with something unique to offer, full-bodied dishes, cooked with beautiful ingredients, created with love. Let me know which recipe you want to try out first in the comments. If you'd like to check out more of my recipes, be sure to check out all of my ebooks available over on my website. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.